All right, we are recording. Nice. So before we get started, guys, I really want to share with you the why for how we do this. Um, most people who I met before I joined the academy, who talked about trading, they talked about it as a hobby. And okay, there's nothing wrong with a hobby. A hobby can make you even a little money sometimes, and it's fun. But it's just something you do for fun. What we're doing here is a um, completely different ball game. Our goals are not they're way beyond hobbyist. Our goals here are to change lives. And I know it may sound like a cliche. It sounded like a cliche to me the first time I heard about the academy and what we're doing. But I'll just say this much, guys: it's not a cliche anymore. So I'm Steve Coleman. 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago, probably 2 years and a month ago, um, I got pretty low because I realized that my financial plan was not working. My wife and I have 5 kids. I used to repair appliances, had an appliance repair company with my family, and it wasn't working. I was losing my kids. I was working so hard because it's like the metaphorical sand was just washing out under my feet, under the feet of my business, and I was having to work harder and harder and harder and harder to try to make enough income to pay the bills, and it was tough. And for me, I'm a praying man, so I got on my knees and I said, God, you got to help me, please. And I heard that little still small voice say, yep, I got you. Keep your eyes open. A couple days later, my friend Dan introduced me to the academy, and here we are. It's been probably the greatest journey of my life, and I'm so grateful. So I exited my job. I shut my company down earlier in 2021. Actually, I think I did my last job in the summer of 2021, and this is what I do now. And I'm so grateful. I'm so excited. It's amazing. So obviously, a guy like me is going to have a lot of passion, because something, when you really get something, you want it for everybody around you. And sometimes you want it a little too much. So, so anyway, I'm gonna share my screen. I'm gonna throw up a few slides here, guys, because I want to share just a little bit so you kind of know what this is, what we're really doing, and what this is all about. So just give me a moment here. There we go. Just give a moment for that screen share to pop up. Can you guys actually see that? I need to pull the chat up here so that I can actually. There we are. There we go. Okay. So you should be able to see this now. And if you can't, one of you guys yell at me if my screen share is not working properly. You can see the what you will you become on the screen here. All right. So I'm going to show you just a couple slides that really show what we're doing here at the academy, and what it's really all about. And let's see, Google has gone and changed the settings here. So bear with me, guys. It's now the slideshow button has moved to the other side of the screen. That's great. All right. All right. So when I started this journey, I really didn't like who I was. And, I have actually become someone different. And I'm really grateful for that. So one of the things, though, this is probably the most important slide. I'm not going to show you much, guys. I really want to get into the details, into the meat here as quickly as possible. But this one I really want to draw attention to. This is really my favorite slide in the entire presentation. On the bottom left corner, you see how it says 95% of the world's population make up only 5% of the market. And then you look in the bottom right corner here, and it says 5% of the market makes up 95% of the entire market. Now, to help you understand that, that's kind of like 95 squirrels fighting over 5 nuts. And then over here in the lower right corner, this is kind of like 5 very fat, rich squirrels, and they've got 95 nuts, and nobody's fighting. So what we're about here at the academy, guys, is to help you land in the right place in this pie chart in front of you. So you get your 35% and your 60%. We're just going to lump those together. We're going to call that the 95%. People working for jobs, whether you're working for yourself, you're self-employed, or whether you have a job. What I really want to draw your attention to is these 2 pie slices here. 4%, these are business owners. This is a business where the business can actually run without you. Then there's the 1%, and we actually do have an opportunity for you on the 4%. We're going to dive first into the 1%, and then we're going to discuss a little bit of that 4% later. So the 1% is where money works for you. That's where you learn the skill of taking your money into the world's market and actually having that money multiply. And that really is what we do. It's what we're about. So, and it's really what has allowed me to be able to be here and not have to actually work a job. I'm able now to take my time and spend it in the areas where I have passion. So this is a little bit of what the Academy looks like. This is a little sneak peek into it. What you're seeing on the screen here, if you got a large enough monitor, you can actually see some of the details. You'll see the FRX, the HFX, the DCX academies here. And guys, I am so grateful for the way the information is laid out. When I started 2 years ago, I did not know what a pip was. I did not know what a candlestick was. I mean, I honestly, the only candles I knew were the wax kind that burn. So it was actually quite something. It was quite a change for me. The only thing I really knew in life was how to read an electrical wiring diagram and how to hold a screwdriver. That was just what I knew, career-wise, that is. So the course material is so well laid out. So, for someone like me who came knowing zero, completely financially illiterate, I wasn't even very good at budgeting. All the information is there. Now you'll see here it says 400. This is actually the 400 series. That's extremely advanced. This is very, very high level stuff. The kind of knowledge that you need to have to actually trade at an institutional level. And we do have people in the Academy who have taken the FTMO challenge and just absolutely aced it. And for those of you who don't know what that is, don't worry about it. But it's high level stuff. So this is not a real basic course we're talking about. It's here, but it's so much more. There we go. This is another picture you'll get to see just of the inside and just how well laid out it is. It's really something else. I'm really grateful. Now the DCX Academy actually is the same idea, but it's focused on teaching you how to trade cryptocurrencies. Now, cryptocurrencies are the future of the financial system. I'd say probably in a couple of years here, we're probably everybody's going to be using cryptocurrencies. And the typical US dollar and the Canadian dollar, those will be things that'll be phased out over time, maybe a little longer than 2 years, but this is where the world is going. And so those of us right now who understand and are educated in the crypto space are going to potentially have a great opportunity to become millionaires just simply by the assets we hold. So it's an amazing opportunity. So, and then here, if you have a good monitor, you can actually see some of the educators. You can see their times and so on the little iPad pictured here. Guys, when this slide was made, there were over 100 educators. We're now getting close to 200 educators. And I am just so grateful. Each one of these educators, they're professionals. They understand how to trade. And not only do they understand how to trade, but they have a heart that they want to bring their students along on this journey with them. I'm just so grateful for that. The one we're going to just one of the many strategies in the Academy we're going to talk about tonight, Dynamic Edge, is taught by a gentleman named James Leone. And I just have the utmost of respect for James. He's a professional of 18 years who has decided to bring his knowledge to us here at the Academy. Over on the right-hand side here, you'll actually see a calendar. It's another point I really want to make is that since we have so many educators, you're going to be able to find one that teaches live at the time when you want to learn. And, and they each, not all of them, but most of them will teach a different strategy. Like you'll have one strategy, you'll have 4 or 5 educators teaching the same strategy. So you have a number of different strategies you can learn in the Academy. And again, we're just going to only talk about one of them tonight. So you're only getting really actually a very small picture of what this larger Academy is about. Another thing that you will notice, any professional trader, very few professional traders trade on what we call a naked chart. And a naked chart is where you've just got candles. Most professional traders, they harness the power of artificial intelligence in their trading. And that is so important. And one of the things that the makers of the Academy, the leaders, Chris Terry, Isa Stellatori, and Jason Brown and others, one of the things that they realized is that it's very important that especially new traders. Okay, USD JPY setting up. Excellent. Thanks, Chris. Okay, I'm going to get through this and then we're going to jump over and have a look at that, Chris. One of the things that new traders absolutely must have is they must have powerful AI tools, because trading, I mean, this is not trading actually, guys, it takes a bit of work to learn. Okay. So I want to be clear that this is not get rich quick. This is a skill like any other skill. This one is actually, I shouldn't really say it's like any other skill, because it's different in a couple of very important ways. One of them is that it has an unlimited scalability. It has an unlimited ceiling. So, and I'm not going to talk about dollars. I just about went down that rabbit hole, so I won't do that. But just consider that. You don't have the typical salary cap that you would in most industries. So these are a few of the tools. The one we're going to talk about, you're going to actually see tonight on your screen, is the PV here, the pivot scanner. And so these are actual AI tools that go out into the market, and the computer does a lot of the heavy lifting for you and shows you trade setups. So we're going to look at that. We have apps as well. We're not going to talk about that now. I wanted to quickly get down to pricing. The first month, $234, second month, and every month thereafter that you want to continue. It's just like a Netflix subscription, really. So first is $234, second month, and every month thereafter, $174. Now, up until I think we've got 2 months, maybe just under 2 months left on this. This first month is now discounted to $185. So anyone looking at moving on this, I'd move quick on that one. And similar pricing for DCX and Elite as well. Actually, the Elite pack has been discontinued. This is an older slide. 2 and free. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about this later, but this is our scholarship program. This actually allows you to get your subscription free. Reach out to the person that got you on the call if you would like to inquire about that. So, having said all that, I'm going to close this out. And Chris, if you wouldn't mind unmuting there, my friend, and let me know if we still have an opportunity with UJ.
Yeah, it's pulled back a little bit. I think you've got a little bit more time yet.
Okay. All right. Very good. Excellent. So what we do have an agenda here tonight, guys. I've got some great people that I really want to share. I really want to share with you all tonight. And I'm really excited to do that. But we will actually, at times, we are going to interrupt the call, because we really would like to be able to find a, oh, look at this. Jana and John are on the call. Hey, guys, all the way from Hawaii. Wow, that's awesome. Great to have you with us. But we are going to interrupt the call if necessary in order to get a trade. So again, have your demo accounts out and ready to go. And we'll see if we can find you something. Let's see here. I'm just going to get my screen going here, and we'll get going for the next section here. All right. I actually just had a brief malfunction of my note app, so just had to restructure a few things. So I would like, guys, to bring up a friend of mine who I met through the Academy. This gentleman is actually a serial entrepreneur. He has built several businesses and actually built teams of tens of thousands of people. Very, very experienced in the world of business. And Phil, I just love if you could go ahead and unmute there. I'm really excited to introduce you to the team. I met Phil through the Academy. Phil is a chairman 10 actually with the IM Academy. And he agreed to come on the call tonight. And I really felt like it would just be great to have him with us, because he can really bring a lot of wisdom to the conversation and can really, I believe, give you guys some really great perspective. So I do have a few questions I'm excited to ask you here, Phil. But first of all, guys, I'm just really excited to introduce you to Phil.
Nice to meet you, Steve, and nice to see everybody on the line here, and happy to help you out any way that I can.
Awesome, man. That's great. Phil, I'm going to get through these questions right now, because I'm multitasking a little here, looking at the charts. So we're gonna do this, and we're gonna see if we can get some trade opportunities for everybody at the same time. But one of the questions I was going to ask you is, when you first enrolled in the Academy, what was your level of knowledge with trading? I mean, what have you learned in the Academy?
My level of knowledge of what I thought I knew compared to what I learned was I had been all my life striding around with a white belt on, if that makes sense, thinking that I knew, because my environment around me that taught me about money wasn't by experts. So in other words, going for a golf lesson with my buddy, who's a pretty good golfer, compared to, getting lessons from and golfing with Tiger Woods, that's a whole different level. And so I realized that when I first got started, that holy man, what I didn't know. And so the academy I'm a whole different trader, night and day, completely night and day. And it's just really, the academy taught me a realization of, what is really happening in the markets. I had no idea. I was part of the traditional lemming that would follow the crowd, buy low, sell high. I mean, okay, I had no idea I could sell high and buy back low. And so it changed my perception of really just looking for movement rather than looking for the inside or the information and what's going to happen and so on and so forth. No, I just, as at now, this is what's happening. Perfect. And take my little piece out of it. And sharing that with other people and having a group of people to do it with was so much fun, is so much fun. I love trading with you guys in the morning. It's a blast.
Oh man, we were just trading just a few hours ago this morning. That was great to have you with us. Phil's with us every morning. We trade together, and it's just so much fun. And very profitable.
Yes.
Hey, Ty's on the call. Hey, Ty, good to have you with us all the way from New Zealand. Wow. Now, Phil, you are an entrepreneur. I know you've built businesses and so on, and you have a lot of experience in the business world.
Mhm.
What you've done with the academy, both in that 4% and also the 1%, not everybody on the call will follow that right away. I'll leave that with you if you want to explain that to people. But both of those, how does that compare to your experience in the business world, and what are maybe some of the major differences that really stood out and continue to stand out in your mind as far as the differences with regards to income earning potential and just business in general that you see between what we're doing here at the academy and then just the regular business world at large?
Yeah, well, you don't know what you don't know. So I was self-employed. I grew a business and done tens of millions in that business and so on. But, saying that, and first off, sounds great, but that's not tens of millions that stayed in my bank account. That's tens of millions that went in the door, in the front door and out the back door. Overhead and keeping the doors open, making sure my employees are paid first, supply chains, everything else. Awesome. And, at the end of the day, when you're self-employed, and you don't get that takeoff where you can scale out, you might as well have a job, because I really simply created a job for myself. And it was a good job. But if I'm not there, then the money stops. The inmates start running the asylum and everything goes sideways. And now you're an adult babysitter fixing things. And of course, when I reflected on that, I thought, I've just really put myself in a different level of the rat race. I'm in the same hamster wheel, just maybe on a bigger one, sort of thing. And, as time went by, I'm on the runway, but I'm running out of runway, if that makes sense, so I got to go faster here. And there's only so much that you can scale out. Well, that I could scale out. There's only so much of me. And when I looked at the academy, to answer your question, I realized that I could leverage my time. I could do an activity that would pay me. And so when I was in Mexico a couple of months ago, I was still getting paid. So through the idea of leveraging and having residual income, that's what we're all looking for. That's why I was building a business, to be able to have money coming in and not be working on that business and running that business, and still have, that's ideal. Make money while you sleep. So the academy woke me up to that. And, within about 10 months, no income claims, I was really able to just walk away from my business. I didn't need it. And that was really a life-changing thing for me. but I understood how the process of that worked, that leveraging.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's beautiful. That's great. Leveraged income. I love that. That's so exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's become very exciting for me over the last couple of years here too. So, what sort of a time commitment did you have to put in order to learn to trade? We'll focus on the trading right now.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not the smartest tool in the shed, and I'll admit that right here, right now. I barely made it through high school. As a matter of fact, I got through high school because the principal didn't want me there anymore. So I'm just one of those kinds of people that, I just have fun and I was creative. But that whole mathematics, the whole, education, academia, whoa, that was not me. Now I can ski, I can ride my motorcycle fast, I can, do rock climbing. I love jumping out of airplanes. I've done everything, and I really like that. So that's what makes my adrenaline run. And I'll tell you, the thing about the academy and the time it took to learn, I thought, oh man, I looked at this thing and I looked at all of it. Like when you're looking at a puzzle, you put all the pieces on the table. And in my mind, I saw a whole bunch of pieces. Now, there's two ways to approach that. This is going to take me a month to put together, or this one over here that's elementary has only got 10 pieces in. I can put that together in 2 minutes. But it's a less complicated picture, right? This one when I looked at the academy, I said, I'm going to need some time to learn it. And, I didn't really want to go back to school. Like, okay, that's a no, right? Because I just finished telling you, academy was free. I really didn't like school other than the social aspect of it. So what I did was, remember, we're creating our own environment. We show up for work every day because we show up for work every day. But if they took $1 off, an hour off your paycheck, you probably wouldn't show up, or you'd look somewhere else, right? So I created my environment. I recognize that. Well, listen, I want my friends to come and do this with me, because when I was in school, I wasn't a loner. I had lots of friends and we had lots of fun. So I called up my friends and said, hey, let's have some fun learning how to do this. And that's exactly what we did. Now, my friends that I've got studied this thing and mastered it, they are forever grateful. I just talked to my buddy in Spain. He said, I've known you for 40 years, Phil. And he says, I'm telling you, I just, anyways. So, the people that I've gotten started, complete life-changing. And when I say life-changing, I'm talking about not kumbaya, we're happier people. Yes, they are happier people because they can provide so much for their children, their family, their children's children. That's what they've created. So, that's been really cool. Like I'm getting stories, once a week from people I had no idea what they've created and changed their generational, wealth tree forever. It's been unbelievable. And I don't think publicly on a recorded call, I don't want to share those kinds of numbers. We can't go down that rabbit hole, but they're huge.
Yeah, it's pretty life-changing stuff. When I have to say, I came into this personally with a lot of doubt, because it just all sounded too good to be true.
Mhm.
But I'm really glad that I took it seriously, because I'm able to sit here now, and I'm just really glad I took it seriously. Again, publicly recorded call, can't say too much, but I am so grateful. And speaking of finances and families, and and just what it takes to live in this world, we do live in a day right now when $500, a $500 emergency bill, a broken transmission or something, could cripple a family. And how do you feel, just kind of in a nutshell, how do you feel that, or what does the academy, provide that could really change that for a family, like specifically?
You know what, in my case, very quickly, is I used to go to the grocery store and actually look at the price of stuff. I used to go to a restaurant and look at the menu and look at how much it costs. I don't really know what the price of gas is. I couldn't tell you what premium is. I have no idea. I just fill up my car and go.
Mm.
So if and it's amazing because you carry so much weight on your shoulder worrying about little things. And those little things are for a lot of people, oh my God, right? And you're looking at price and money and it's freaking you out. But so that perception for me has changed completely. Like if I need that, I get that. It doesn't matter. Now I'm not stupid. I don't do stupid things like just be an idiot with, but the little things, the daily pressure things, bills, all that kind of stuff, yeah, non-existent, just like, yeah. So the Academy, from that perspective, gave me a lot of freedom from the fact that I don't have to worry about little things. Like I don't watch the news or anything. Somebody was talking to me about, our daily, something about trucks or something like that. I had no idea, like no idea. Because, it doesn't bring happiness and growth to my family. So the Academy taught me how to kind of focus on how do I help other people, myself, and people around me to create that freedom. And that freedom is really just a relief of pressure on your shoulders of the little things, right? If that makes sense.
Yeah, it's been the same way for me, Phil. Man, thank you so much for your time and just coming to share some of your wisdom with us. Again, you've just been such an encouragement to me, just working with you in the business side, working with you, just trading with you in the mornings. So thank you so much for coming and joining us. And you know what I realized I just did? I completely ignored Chris. He said USD JPY was ready. So I don't know if we missed that trade. I'm guessing we did. One of the things I love about the strategy we trade is that we get multiple trade opportunities within a relatively short amount of time. So we may very well have another one coming up here quickly. But guys, just drop some sevens in the chat for Phil. Thank you so much, Phil, for coming on.
Very welcome, Steve. Thanks for having me on, and happy to help you out any way that I can.
Awesome. Appreciate it. So, oh man, I had another comment I was going to make. Shoot. I didn't write it down, so I forgot. Anyway, Chris, I would just love to bring you up, brother, if you wouldn't mind coming up and sharing your screen and showing us how this all works, because I'm sure we've got some people on the call that are just like, okay, you guys have told us all about the Academy and I'm all excited, but I want to see how this works. So guys, guess what? Your waiting's over. Chris is actually going to show us the details. I'm a really detail oriented person. So if you've been waiting to see the details, I feel you. And here they are. Thank you, Chris. Over to you, my friend.
Awesome. Thanks, Steve. Appreciate it. Wow, that was great to see Phil on there. Man, that guy, he's a blast to have on our calls in the morning. And we have nicknamed him Sensei because he brings so much wisdom, and we just absolutely love the guy. So yeah, we were set up on USD JPY. I've been watching the charts for you guys. And yes, we did miss it, but there is an opportunity within, I can't share my screen, Steve.
Let me fix that right now.
Okay. There is still opportunity. There is a window of opportunity within that USD JPY. And I'll share my screen right now. Just let me know if you can see it or not.
Yeah, you're good, bro.
Awesome. Okay, so we're looking at the chart here on a 1 minute. So we had, a bit of a move here. We kind of saw, a little bit of consolidation is what we call it. And then we saw a little bit of a dip down and a move up. And it was right around in this point here where I kind of put out onto the chat to take the USD JPY was ready. I wasn't going to put that it was a buy or a sell because I wanted to make sure everybody kind of knew what was going on before you actually took a trade. So we are kind of getting into a point of where the price is starting to pull back a little bit. We want to see it pull back and start to move back up again before we get into that. NAS 100 is also setting up as well. Just right as this happened here as well on the NAS 100, which is the NASDAQ, the US 100. It's the top 100 stocks on Wall Street, technology stocks. So see here, we could have easily gone in here. And I just want to kind of explain briefly what it is and that we look for and what this strategy tells us. And right before I do that, I want to explain that trading is difficult only in your own mind. Trading with the charts and doing exactly what the charts tell you and following the rules, you can be successful. The really hard part is getting your emotion out of the way and not having feelings in the market. And we could look at this and we could say, oh, look, it's going up. It's going up. I'm going to buy. I'm going to buy. I'm going to buy. Well, that's just how you feel. The market doesn't care what your opinion is. And that's what our educator and our mentor, James Leone, has taught us, is to put all your emotion aside. And it's a really hard thing to do. It really is, especially when you're talking about money. And he's done an amazing job of teaching us that discipline. So we really get into the charts and we try to do exactly what the charts are telling us to do. If you do what you feel, you can expect to have a lower win rate. The basis of this strategy is to find very low risk and high probability. And the number one step in this process of analyzing these charts is looking for divergence. And we have a couple of indicators here for that. And basically, we're seeing a discrepancy on this indicator versus this indicator here. You can see I've drawn up a few lines here. You can see that we've had price up here, and it's lower than this previous price, and it's higher on this side. So it's disagreeing. That's what we call divergence. At that point, we're looking for something a little bit different. After that, we're looking for a signal. And that's where the algorithm and James, our mentor, has built this strategy so that these arrows come up at specific times. And we can see these arrows coming up. You see there's a buy, and then there's a sell, and then a buy, and a sell, and a buy, and a sell, and a buy. And you're like, whoa, like, where do I go? What do I do? Well, from that point, we have this this pink line and this purple line, and it tells us whether it's in buy mode or sell mode. We have these lines here that tell us whether it's in buy mode or sell mode. We also have this zero line across the what we call the MACD. And anytime that this line moves through that 0 point, you can expect to see a move. You can see it here, right? But we kind of knew that things were going to happen because we saw divergence beforehand, that it was bearish. We could see a little bit of divergence within here, and we knew that it was going to reject. We call that a hopper. It's where it comes down through that line. We could see that things were going to start going back up. But I just want to point out, you can see we have a hopper here and a signal. Go back a little bit farther in the day. Okay, we got a signal. We have a hopper. Let's go back a little bit farther. Oh, we got a signal. We got a hopper a little bit farther back. Consolidation. Not the greatest. Come down below. Look at it. Yeah, it was good.
Money, like plenty.
Yeah. Look at, we had a hopper here. Signal. Look at where price went. Would you like me to continue? Look at that. This is what we call a proper hopper, where we have the line breaking through zero and we have a signal at the same time. Now, you can definitely, make some pips, what we call pips, points in the market, off of just these signals very easily. But your win rate might not be as great. But if you understand these other indicators and what they're telling you and what price is telling you to do with these charts and the indicators, I understand it looks like spaghetti. You see all these lines and you see all these stuff, and it looks like a chicken leg and a crocodile and all this kind of stuff. But really, this is what the Academy does. This is how they educate us on understanding what each and every single one of these things mean and what it does and how to read it. It takes time. It absolutely takes time. But it's just like driving a car. Anytime that when you were first 16 and you got your driver's license and you got in the car, you didn't know where anything was. You had to look for where the blinker was, where the windshield washer was, where drive and park is. You get in a car now, you know exactly where the volume button is on your stereo without even having to look at it. And that's really what this comes down to, is plugging yourself into this strategy and learning and plugging yourself into the Academy. It doesn't even have to be Dynamic Edge. There's lots of other different strategies. The Academy does a really, really great job of putting together strategies and educators that fit around people's schedules, which is amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Hey, Chris.
So, yeah.
Can I interrupt?
Absolutely.
The NAS, we may have a higher risk trade available right now, or a lower, a little bit lower probability. But if we're looking for something, and if everyone's on demo, we could. What do you think of that one?
Yep. We could definitely take a sell on that one for sure. Absolutely. I would go for it.
Okay.
Because we've got a bit of a higher high here, higher low. It's a little bit of divergence. It's not a lot. If we were to consider this equal distant, then yes. But it's not. So higher risk, but we have a PSAR outside this band, which is great. Thanks for watching that, Steve. That's fantastic. And our MACD lines, they have crossed. They're starting to point down. We're just come down below this middle black line here and our pink line here. We're still in sell mode. So yeah, you could take this down from that point. Go ahead, take that one. Could take it all the way back down to 40.
I got profits on my demo.
Nice. Excellent. Yeah. Excellent.
I'm going to grab that profit right now. I've got about.
Yeah, take it. This is the strategy that, we call this scalping. This is scalp trading. When we trade in the mornings, we trade for about 2 to 3 hours tops. And we catch little moves like this. We catch 10 pips, 20 pips, 30 pips really quickly. Good eye, Steve. That was fantastic.
Look at it. It just
absolutely fantastic.
It tanked. I shouldn't have gotten out.
That's okay. That's okay. That's what see what Steve was doing there. That was called FOMO, fear of missing out. But you know what? He walked away with pips. He walked away with money in the bag. And that's what we do on our strategy. We find these areas where things are going to move. We know which direction it's going to go. We take that trade and we catch the amount of pips that the strategy is going to give us. Steve got out, he took his 10. That's fine. That's great. But because now we have a move like this, we have rules to follow on when to get out.
Yeah.
And back here wouldn't have been that time. If you wanted to, absolutely take it. Take the money and run. We call that TTFM. Take the money. Okay.
Yep.
So that's great. I'm glad we got to catch that one. That was fantastic. I've been watching this back and forth, so that's great. Awesome, man. You got a hopper too.
Yep. Oh man.
Signal and a hopper.
Signal and a hopper. PSAR was outside.
And a hopper. Yep. Great little move. Great little move.
Yep.
Absolutely. And it looks like there is some bullish divergence now, which is a good thing.
Yep.
Because with bullish divergence, which is telling us that price is going to start heading back up, we've got this little added line here that our mentor, James Leone, gave us a little bit of a nugget, a little bit of sauce, and said, hey, if you're starting to see divergence when you're getting close to this line, you can expect that things are going to start to go the other way. So I have mad respect for the man that has taught us this. and everybody that comes on and trades with us in the mornings. It is just absolutely a blast. We have so much fun, and yeah, man, we joke around, and we have a ton of fun. It's really, thanks for having me on, Steve. Hope everybody really enjoyed that little snippet, that little snipe, and get some pips in the bag. But look at that. Look at her go. Isn't that cool? Sheesh. Sign me up. Back to you, Steve. You're muted, Steve. Steve, you're muted.
Gosh. Thank you, Chris. Oh man. Guys, drop some sevens in the chat for Chris. Drop more sevens for him. I just am I'm just so grateful for you, Chris. I trade every morning. We trade as a team every morning, and Chris leads the call. He is kind of like, I don't know if you've ever played tug of war before, but if you have, the one guy who just really is good, he knows how to dig his heels in, and he's the person who just gives you the whole team their base and their solid footing, and that's totally Chris for us. He leads the call in the mornings. We actually have a private team call that we just absolutely enjoy so much. Phil's on there with us every morning, and it's actually Chris's call. He leads it, and we're just so grateful for him. So thank you, brother. Much appreciated. And I'm a little distracted right now because the market literally just tanked. It tanked 100 pips right now, just literally while we were talking.
Isn't that wild? At 7:45 at night.
Yeah,
maybe trading at night too.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, exactly. In fact, there's another Chris on the call I was talking with earlier, my dear brother Chris Lloyd, and we were talking about exactly that. So anyway, that's a conversation for another day. Now, guys, I've got a real treat for you guys tonight. Another dear friend of mine that I'm really excited to introduce to you. Let me just check and see if he's on with us here. Rich, are you on with us tonight? He might have jumped off. Let's see. I'm not finding him in the list here.
I'm here, brother.
You are. There you are. All right. All the way from Costa Rica, guys. In Costa Rica, like, what time is it? It's almost 10 o'clock there right now, isn't it?
It is 9:43. Yep.
Yeah, right. So Rich is a chairman 25, almost chairman 50 with the company. And again, another one of those real solid pillars that over my last 2 years, I don't think I could have done this trading journey without people like Rich in my life, without people like Phil in my life, and without people like, just to name a few, like Chris in my life. This is a skill that actually, honestly, in my little paradigm that I was in, the world around me said I couldn't. They told me I couldn't do it, and so I need people in my life like Rich to be able to really help me on this journey. And I'm just so grateful for it. I'm so grateful for the community that just grows naturally in the academy here. And I asked Rich to come on and just share a few thoughts with us tonight, and talk a little bit about that 4% that we saw earlier. If you were on at the beginning of the call with us, you saw that pie chart and how there's an opportunity. And we've been talking only about the 1%. But how to make your money work for you. And now Rich is going to talk a little bit with us about the 4% and how there's an opportunity for you there as well. So Rich, over to you, my friend.
Thanks, Steve. Can you hear me okay?
Sounding great.
Awesome, man. Well, it's there's nowhere else I'd rather be at this time of the night, man, than on a call with you. I see my good brother Ralph there. I see Chris. I just had a 45-minute conversation with Phil earlier today and caught up with him. And I'm just grateful to be on with you guys, man. And I just have to say, I'm really really grateful for Chris Terry starting this company almost 9 years ago with a vision and a mission of empowering 1 million people around the world. And I mean, we didn't know about this company till 2.5 years ago. And, to see the people on this call, the success that's going on. I see Sherry Locks on the call. Shout out to Sherry. If you guys don't know her story. I'm not going to share it with you right now, but let's just say it's one that you definitely need to hear. She's been here for just over 12 months. But, you know, just hearing about the success you guys are having with this call in the mornings and, you know, with the strategy of Dynamic Edge, you know, it really just makes my heart happy, and it makes me proud to be in business with this company, with you guys, you know, and I'm just grateful for all of you guys, and especially just for, you know, the leaders in this company that, you know, when people said years ago, and I've heard all the stories, you know, people said years ago, like trading and home-based business will never work. It's never going to work, you know, and there were a few leaders that had the vision so strong in their mind and in their heart, and they said, you know what, the power of trading is life changing. The power of trading will change people's lives once they learn this skill set, and once really to even zoom out from that, once people learn how to become investors. Because, you know, like the slide Steve shared at the beginning, the pie chart, you know, getting people from, you know, the wrong side to the right side of money, which is really becoming an investor and a business owner, or investor and entrepreneur. You know, that you need the right vehicle to do that. And really, when we can become investors and we can think like investors, you know, we get a paycheck or we get some money that comes in, some cash flow. When you're thinking like a consumer, it's a lot different than when you're thinking like an investor, whether you're, you know, putting it in a Forex account, whether you're, you know, putting it in the crypto market, whatever you're doing. But, you know, I'm just, you know, my gratitude is constant every single day. I'm so just blown away with really what, you know, what this company has become. And, you know, the vision, for those of you guys that are new, maybe you're a guest on the call, and you're not a part of the academy, you know, I just want to say, you know, welcome to you guys. And, you know, the vision of this company, just to share with you, is to empower, enrich, and educate the lives of 1 million people around the world. And what that means is really it's about helping people. You know, that's really the vision of the company, and it's about people. And, you know, that's why I love it. That's what attracted me to this company in the beginning, was I was seeing people's lives changed. And so, you know, I just wanted to, you know, really share one thought with you guys, one kind of, you know, main point that I wanted to share. And Phil and I were talking about this earlier today, and you know, I've just been looking at, you know, all the people inside of our organization, inside of this team, all over the world. I mean, we've got Costa Rica, we got Hawaii, we got New Zealand, we got Canada, we got the States, we got people from all over the world on this call. And Steve, you've done an amazing job hosting this call. It's just been incredible. But, you know, when I look at the people that have had the most success with the products and services as traders, they have some type of cash flow to be able to trade with, right? And that's why the company is set up the way it is. And that's why, you know, Chris Terry's vision in the beginning was so clear. It was to help people come into a place where they could learn and earn, right? If you take the word learn and you take the L off, it spells earn. So first you have to learn, and you have to get the right education, the right information, and then you can earn. And, you know, the beautiful part about this opportunity, you know, if you look at, you know, even on the new slides and the new presentation, it says that less than 1% of the world participate in the financial markets. And the reason for that is that most people don't have extra money at the end of the month to put into the market. You know, like Phil said, you know, people are $500 away from a financial, or maybe it was Steve, $500 away from a financial situation that's not good, whether it's an emergency or whatever. And that's just the reality of the world we live in. So when you can have a little bit of extra cash flow every month, whether it's $600 a month, $1,000 a month extra coming in, now you can invest that money into a trading account. Now your trading actually becomes risk-free, because what happens is sometimes you win, sometimes you lose in trading, right? There's a lot of people on this call having massive success, right? But along that journey, that 12 to 18 month journey of developing yourself as a trader, you know, you win some, you lose some. And so that cash flow and making it a risk-free opportunity is so huge and so massive to really giving yourself a chance to become successful as a trader and an investor. So, you know, as you're looking at, you know, who you could even share this with, the opportunity. I mean, someone shared this with me. Someone drove 4 hours from their place in Vancouver to my house in the Okanagan to share this opportunity with me. I went to the States. I met the company. I came back. I shared it with a few people, and you know, people that I care about. And you know, what's happened now, and the ripple effect from that is incredible. And it's hard to even. Sometimes it's overwhelming hearing the success stories, right? But I just want you guys to think about, you know, who could you share this with? Who do you want to build generational wealth with? Who do you want to leave a legacy with? What kind of friendships or relationships do you have that that really matter to you, that you could, you know, say, hey, let's go learn about money together. Let's go become investors together. I found a great vehicle. I found a great bunch of people to do this with. You know, that's that's really all I'm saying. And as you do that, and you connect people and you build that trading pod for yourselves, whether it's just becoming 2 and free or whether you do go to P600, which is, you know, a team of 12, you know, now you've put yourself in a position where, you know, trading becomes a lot more exciting and you have that cash flow to really invest. So I just want to say, you know, how proud I am of this team, this whole group, man. It's just amazing seeing the names in here. You know, there's such incredible success going on, and you know, from being down here in Central America and just being able to get on calls with you guys and being able to observe what's going on and being able to play a small part in this, you know, it's amazing. So thanks for having me on, Steve. Love you guys, appreciate you guys. Anything that I can do to add any value to you guys in any way, just let me know, and we will see you guys very, very soon.
You so much, Rich. Okay, guys, drop some 8s in the chat for Rich. Again, just one of those people that I just couldn't have done this journey without. Thank you so much, brother, for jumping on with us.
Thanks for having me, man.
All right, say hi to Morgan for me. Good night. Man, what a blessing. What a blessing. You know, and I said at the beginning of the call, guys, I said, I am so passionate about everything we are doing here at the Academy, and it's because of the success in my own life, because of it. And and that's really why Dan and others and myself, we run this call for you guys, because you know, it's true, you know, we could just kind of sit on our little trading pod in the morning and trade on our own, or we could open it up for more. And that really is what this call is about. We want to give you guys an opportunity to really look and see. And look, Jono's saying hi.
Oh, hey, John. Or is that Jaina?
No, I think he's on Jaina's account. That must be Jono Low coming through in the chat there.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it's probably Jono. Yeah, it says Jaina. That's awesome. Thanks for coming on all the way from Hawaii. It's awesome. Anyway, that really is why we're doing what we're doing. So, you know, if you're curious about this, reach out to whoever got you on the call, get you connected with some more info, and get you a better look at what's going on. And you know, for me, I looked at it, I scratched my head, I considered it, and then all of a sudden it dawned on me. It's only $225 to get started. And I realized, what am I even thinking? Let's give this a try. And I remember that first week, you know, you may remember looking at Chris's screen. You might have looked at all the EMAs and the lines and thought, oh, that looks so complicated. I felt the same way the first time I saw a financial chart. But I remember that first week when I went through the very well laid out educational course in the Academy, and suddenly all of those lines and EMAs started to make sense. And I honestly, you know, I was diagnosed as a kid with ADHD. The teacher told my mom that she could never teach me. I was too stupid to be taught. And all the lines started to make sense. And I felt like a genius. It was the best feeling in the world. And I was only less than a week in. And so I would encourage anyone on this call, jump in, give it a try. If you think it's too complicated, it's not. It's not. The biggest part of my journey personally, and many others will say the same thing, has been psychological. You know, I'd say for me, if I had to throw numbers at it, I'd say, you know, the last 2 years, my growth has been 20% technical and 80% mindset. And again, that's where, and that's what I mean when I say, what I'm saying, I need people like Rich, like Chris, and like Phil, like Ralph in my life, because that mindset growth is huge, absolutely massive. So we did have a question here. We are just coming up on 8 o'clock, so we're just about ready to close the. Let's see here, and yeah, Matthew was asking a very good question in the chat here. By the way, guys, feel free to drop your questions. He said, not all brokers allow you to trade indices. Which ones do? And Chris answered it, Fusion, Markers, Traders Way. That's awesome. And Owanda. And so for those of you on the call who don't know what an indice is, an indice is what we just traded, some of us. The NAS 100 is an indice. It's based on the stock market. The cool thing about this strategy that Chris just showed you is that you don't have to trade the stock market. You can trade anything you want. Guys, you can trade Bitcoin on the weekends with Dynamic Edge and pretty much almost every other strategy in the academy. I mean, it's amazing what you can do. So we're talking about something that's really, really powerful here. Another thing I wanted to bring up just before we close the call down is I was actually talking with a friend of mine, and I actually shared with him, he's a really good friend of mine. So I actually did share with him the kind of percentages we were gaining, that I gained in my account and so on. Probably not the most compliant thing to do, but I did it, and I'll confess up. And he looked at the numbers and he said, well, I guess you must have a lot of risk if you're making that kind of money. And you know what? I smiled and I said, you know something, that couldn't be further from the truth. One of the beauties of what we're doing here, guys, is our trades were in and out in, usually the longest I'll have a trade open is about 10 minutes. That trade I did there, I just quickly scalped 20 pips during the call. That was open for less than a minute. So, that is the ultimate for low risk. The extreme side of risk would be actually buying and holding shares of a company in the stock market. And I don't know if any of you on this call have ever been through a market crash like we recently had. And if you're, panic trying to sell out of your shares, there's nobody there to buy them. And so it's a completely different way of trading altogether. And it's pretty amazing. With Dynamic Edge, we have very, very, very tight rules in terms of risk management. And most of the strategies in the academy are that way as well. Because the educators are very serious about you and I getting successful with this, about being able to take it so far beyond a hobby to the point where it actually changes your life. So, and a big part of that is risk management. So most of our trades, I did have a few losses today, and I'm actually quite well in the plus. And that's because the losses are small, because we have when this trade starts to go against you, you exit. And we have indicators on our chart that tell us exactly when to exit. So there's no guessing about that. There's no nuance about it. When it crosses over that black line, you get out. It's very simple. And I so appreciate that. And it makes me so excited because I've introduced now quite a few people to the academy and, recently to Dynamic Edge. And it just makes me so excited to see people getting successful with this and compounding their accounts. So thank you very much for everyone for coming on and joining us this evening. It has been a real pleasure to have you all with us. So I'm going to say good night. It's 8 o'clock. I'm going to run upstairs and put my boys to bed. And time. Yeah. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate it. All right. Have a great night, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and shut the call down, and we'll see you guys all next
Great
Wednesday.
information. Thank you.
You are most welcome. I think that was Sherry. Great to have you
Yes,
with
it
us,
was.
Sherry.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks, Steve. Bless you, brother. Thanks, Chris.
All right.
Congratulations, Sherry.
Thank you.
Amazing.
Thanks, Phil. Thanks, Jono.
Have a good night, guys.
Good night, all.